Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Reganelite here. Hello, everyone. How are you all doing? I hope you are all doing well. Um, my voice is a bit banged up, and I'll explain why in just a little bit, guys. Welcome to episode 6 of Snowflakes on America, 17th of April 2025 at 8 p.m. UK time. We are dual streaming live on youtube.com/Reganelite and on twitch.tv/Reganelite1. If you are on Twitch, hello, don't be shy. I know it's a quiet area, but you can speak in there. Feel free to hit the follow button and hit that bell notification icon when we go live on Twitch. If you're on YouTube, welcome as well. Feel free to say hello, don't be shy. And also hit that like button, share across social media, and subscribe if you haven't to already. We have 5 stories to look at here on the Snowflake on America. Normally I would do 6. And the last, it's actually technically 4 because the 5th one is actually quite short. But the reason why I'm only doing 5 is I've recorded quite a, then just did the content this morning. I've been recording today to try and to cover Saturday and Sunday. And tomorrow I'm going to try and cover Monday and some of Tuesday as well because of what time I'm coming back Monday from my trip, which I will explain tomorrow and tomorrow morning's live stream. I'm not sure how if I'm going to be able to do much recording on Monday, if any. Probably just the live stream, and that's about it. So I've already recorded I pretty much recorded content for the weekend. It's been a while since I've done some videos, actual videos, some proper videos. So you'll get them dropping over the weekend. But I'll go through all of that tomorrow morning on the Good Morning show for you guys. So literally only like 2 hours ago, literally after the 2 Davies show wrapped up, that I was recording a bit more. So my voice is not like like ready to go on thrust like I was this morning. So I do need to take it a bit slow on this one. So Dave McGuinness, good to see you, my friend. Hope you are doing well. Great show today. Great show today. Do check out his channel, youtube.com/the2davies for the work that they do there. Ginger Lefty is here as well. Good evening, Ginger. Hope you are doing well. And Jow is also here as well. Good evening, Jow. Hope you are doing well. And just a reminder, any super chats to goes towards the Democratic Penguins Republic. We have an update on. I have a major update for you guys at the end of the show with regards to the Democratic Penguins Republic. So do stick around to the end of the show because I have a very important video regarding the progress on the DPR and what Ollie has been doing since then. There's been a major update which I will not share until later on, guys. So if you want to find out what it is, do stick around for that. Now, speaking of stuff on America as well, this dropped a couple of hours ago from Senator Chris Van Hollen. So for those who weren't aware, the Senator Chris Van Holland, if I pronounce his name correctly, I apologize. So he is in El Salvador. He's trying to avoid the whereabouts, the location of the innocent man who was innocently deported to El Salvador's prison. He arrived there, I think, not yesterday, day before, and there's been an update from him there since he's been there. So let's just have a listen. I don't have a specific story on this, but I wanted to share this with you guys on this on what he is here. So he just says before I click on it, he says, if we were denied entry into the CECOT, the notorious prison in El Salvador, where Mr. Alberto Garcia is being illegally held. We were there for one simple reason, to check on his well-being, which his family and lawyers have not been allowed to do. We won't stop fighting. So, unfortunately, he wanted access to the prison just to see where he is, and he was denied that. So we still don't know whether the man's alive or not, unfortunately, which is a real cause for concern.
I'm here with Chris Newman, who is the attorney for the wife and mother of Kilmar Abrego Garcia. And we just tried to go visit him in prison just to check on his conditions. Is he doing okay? Because nobody has any communication with him. since he was illegally abducted from Maryland and sent to CCOT prison in El Salvador, which, as a U.S. District Court judge said, was a violation of all his due process rights. Today's purpose was just to see what his health condition is, and these soldiers were ordered to prevent us from going any farther from this spot. I understand we're about 3 kilometers now from CCOT, and as you can see, they're letting other cars go by, but they stopped us because they're under orders not to allow us to proceed to check on the well-being of Kilmar Abrego Garcia.
I don't know if that's under orders from El Salvador or under orders from the Trump administration, because let's be very clear about this. The Trump administration can undo this at any whim. It only takes one phone call from the US president to basically say, take him back on this, but we just don't know, guys. We just honestly don't know the situation. Good evening, Mavon33 and Stephen Banker. Hope you guys are doing well. This is one other clip I wanted to show you that's not related to my stories as well. I thought this was absolutely beautiful. I wish I had the full thing, but this is pretty awesome. A 90-year-old Holocaust survivor confronted Trump's ICE director. So ICE is basically basically he's the one who's controlling the immigration system in the United States. They call it short for ICE. But this is pretty powerful. So I hope you guys enjoyed this as well. I wanted to share this with you guys.
I was hauled up by the Nazis. And for no other reason, I was picked up and separated from my family, who was exterminated in Auschwitz. And I am a survivor of Auschwitz and Dachau. I spent 5.5 years in concentration camp. I spent 5.5 years in concentration camp for one season and one reason only. Because we picked on people. And you as the sheriff, who we elected as sheriff of this county. We did not elect you as sheriff of Washington, D.C. It's about time you serve the people here. And when this gentleman stands up there and he says he doesn't go after any people, he should read today's beat. Because in today's beat, the Supreme Court Justice of the State of California objected to ICE coming in and taking people away from the courts. Don't tell me that this is a lie. You stand up here, Mr. Jones, don't forget, history is not on your side.
Unbelievable. Remember, that's a 90-year-old Holocaust survivor. Holocaust survivor there, guys. Absolutely wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I wanted to share that with you guys there. I don't have the full context of that story, guys, but I wanted to share that with you guys nonetheless. So I hope that you found that all inspiring in some way, shape, or form. Good evening, Alistair Keir. Hope you are doing well. So, guys, let's go to our first news story. Obviously, one of the main stories that's in America right now is obviously there's all the Trumps and tariffs and that, but obviously a certain person is visiting the White House today, and that is Donald Trump. Not Donald Trump. That's the Italian PM Mendi. Trump says he is in no rush to end the tariffs as he holds talks with Italy's Mendi. So apparently the talks were okay. We thought that maybe because she's right-wing, because she's on the side of immigration, that perhaps maybe she might be able to lean a bit more on him than other EU members because of her political stance. And actually, Italy are going to be hurt a lot more harder than other EU nations with the tariffs, apparently, is my understanding. I don't think there's been too much out of this, guys. But let's have a read anyway on this. So, President Donald Trump said today that he's in no rush to reach any trade deals because of the revenues his tariffs are generating. But he suggested while meeting with Italian Premier Giorgia Mendy that it would be easy to find an agreement with the European Union and others. Trump played down the likelihood of an accelerated timeline to warp up deals, saying that any agreement would come at a certain point. We're in no rush, says Trump, hinting that he has leverages because other countries want access to US consumers. Well, people are turning away from the US consumer. That's what he's doing. Melody's meeting with Trump is testing her mettle as a bridge between the EU and the United States. She is the first European leader to have face-to-face talks with the president since he announced the then partially suspended 20% tariff on European exports. Melody secured the meeting as Italy's leader, but she also has, in a sense, been knighted to represent the EU at a critical junction in the fast-evolving trade war that has stoked recession fears. Trump administration has belittled its European counterpart for not doing enough on national security while threatening their economies with tariffs, sparking deep uncertainty about the future of the transatlantic alliance. We know we are in a difficult moment, Melody said this week in Rome. Most certainly I am well aware of what I represent and what I am defending. The EU is defending what it calls the most important commercial relationship in the world, with annual trade with the US totaling 1.6 trillion euros. The Trump administration said that its tariffs would enable trade negotiations that would box out China, the world's dominant manufacturer. But Trump maintains that rivals and allies alike have taken advantage of the US on trade. That's not true. We've discussed this. Everyone's talked about this to death. We know that's just not the case. Roger Devine, good to see you there. Hope you are doing well. Instead of being the responsibility of individuals to member states, trade negotiations fall under the authority of the EU Commission, which is pushing for a 0-to-0 tariff deal with Washington. Yeah, that's. I mean, we just don't know. Every day we wake up and it's just like, what's Donald Trump going to do next? What's he going to roll back on? What's he going to go push more forward on? Like, it's just every day it's like, what's happened? What's Trump said today? What's he doing today? What's he going to do to mess things up? That's always the case with him. Unless he's playing golf all day. Administration officials in talk with the EU have yet to publicly relate on the president's baseline 10% tariffs. Trump paused for 90 days his initial 20% tax on EU products so that talks could occur. The EU is already engaged with the Trump administration officials in Washington. Marcos Stekovic, the European Commissioner for Trade and Economic Security, said he met on Monday with the Commerce Secretary Howard Tunick and the US Trade Representative Jameson Geer. He said afterwards the next day it will require significant joint effort on both sides to get zero tariffs and work on non-tariff trade barriers, with Trump's team specifically objecting to Europe's use of value-added tax. Well, you know, you're not going to get what you want, America, on everything. Melody's margins for progress are more in gaining clarity on the Republican president's goals rather than outright concessions, experts say. It's a very delicate mission, said Fabian Zelf, the chief economics at the European Policy Centre think tank in Brussels. There is a whole trade agenda, and while she is not officially negotiating, we know that Trump likes to have this kind of informal exchange, which is a sense of negotiation. So there's a lot on her plate. As the leader of the far-right party, Melody is ideologically aligned with Trump on issues including curbing migration, promoting traditional values, and skepticism towards multilateral institutions. But stark differences have emerged in Melody's unwavering support for Ukraine after Russia's invasion in February 2022. The two leaders are expected to discuss the war and Italy's role in an eventual post-war reconstruction of Ukraine. Trump is expected to press Melody to increase Italy's defence spending, which last year fell well below the 2% of gross domestic product. Targets for countries in the NATO military alliance, Italy spending at 1.49% of GDP, is among the lowest in Europe. And despite the differences on Ukraine defense spending, Melody is seen by some in the US administration as a vital bridge to Europe at a difficult moment for the transatlantic relations. Yeah. Trump is only looking to discuss, I'm good, thank you. Looking only to discuss with Melody how Italy's marketplace can be opened up, but also how they can help us with the rest of Europe, according to a senior administration official who briefed the reporters before the visit. The official spoke on the condition of autonomy under the ground rules set by the White House. After being the only European leader to attend Trump's January the 20th inauguration, the only European leader, Melody has responded with student restraints to abrupt shifts in US policy under Trump have frayed the US-European alliance. She has denounced the tariffs as wrong and has warned that dividing the West would be disastrous for everyone after Trump's heated White House exchange with the Ukrainian president. Italy maintains a €40 billion trade surplus with the US, its largest with any country, fueled by America's appetite for Italian sparkling wine, food stuff like Pomerigo, Regio, hard cheese, and Parma ham, and Italians' luxury fashion. These are all sectors critical to the Italian economy, and mostly supported by the small and medium-sized producers, who are the core centre-right voters. All in all, I think she'll focus on the very strong economic and trade relations that Italy has with the United States, and not just in terms of exports, but also services for the energy, said Antonio Villaresca, the vice president of the ISPI think tank for Milan. For example, Italy could even consider importing more gas from the US. I mean, like, you can't be getting your gas from Russia. But we all got to get gas. So we're not at a point where we can't not have gas. Or how the Democratic Penguins Republic. Thank you, Alistair Keir, for the £2 super chat. Much appreciated, my friend. Like I said, we have an important update on the Democratic Penguin Republic at the end of the live stream. So do join us for the end of that, guys. The meeting comes against the backdrop of growing concerns over global uncertainty generated by the escalating tariff wars. Italy's growth forecast this year has already been slashed from 1% to 0.5% as a result. The Trump administration has imposed tariffs on much of the world, arguing that other countries have taken advantage of the US, as evidenced by its trade deficits. But with the 90-day pause, the White House has increased Trump tariffs on China to 145% while keeping separate tariffs as much as 25%. I think that's gone up to over 200% since this article's come out. Correct me if I'm wrong in chat. I'm pretty sure that's gone up again. While keeping tariffs as much as 25% on Canada, Mexico, or all those steel and aluminium. On Wednesday, Trump met with Japan's chief trade negotiator. I'm not going to say his name because I'll mispronounce it. Trump on social media summarized the meeting as achieving big progress, but he did not offer any specifics. Okay. China is similarly seeking strike deals that could possibly undercut claims made by Trump and his tariffs, which will ultimately lead to more domestic factory jobs and stronger growth. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's more than 200% now on the Trump tariffs. I'm pretty sure that's what it's increased to. Yeah, so I don't, as of right now, have much more on this. Obviously, this video clip here is just them meeting, but they've had discussions. I don't know the too much of the context there, but I will say, obviously, that maybe they would just have a better understanding of what Donald Trump is actually looking for with the European Union. But as we all know, he changes every single day. So I actually would wonder what a meeting between Trump and Ursula von der Leyen would be like. I imagine it would not be pleasant. But the way that Donald Trump was quite pleasant in his introduction to her when she arrived at the White House. But yeah, Italy's not doing very well economic-wise, from my understanding, and obviously for you on that front. Madmonk33, thank you so much for the £2 super chat. Pingu for president of the Democratic Republic. Yeah, he's not running to be the candidate or for the DPR yet. He may run for it in the future. But he isn't running right now. But he's happy in his role in the cabinet. But yeah, thank you for the £2 super chat. It's much appreciated. But yeah, I'm sure we'll have more on that as it comes along on that story. But I don't think there's anything's going to really. I don't think she's going to change really anything. There may be some breadcrumbs that will come out of it, but I don't see too much changing as a result of this meeting. One really scary story that's been happening in America. While it may not seem like, let me pause this video because I am going to play this video actually. Because even though it's an actual error, as you guys know, American citizens, even though they've got their passports, the fact that some American citizens have been getting this email is very cause for concern. So this is from NBC News. An American doctor received email from immigration officials telling her to leave the country immediately. Dr. Lisa Anderson, 58, was born in Pennsylvania and is a U.S. citizen. Let me just 1 second. I'm just going to move it over a little bit just so you can see some of it.
It is time for you to leave the United States. That's the first sentence Lisa Anderson saw in an email she got from the Department of Homeland Security Friday.
The language seems pretty threatening to whoever it might actually apply to.
She thought it was spam at first, but the email was very real after Anderson had it vetted. What created confusion is that Anderson, who's a physician and lives in Cromwell, was born in Pennsylvania and is a U.S. citizen.
I really have no idea how my email ended up on that list unless someone else was using that as a false email.
She now...
Do you know what I honestly think? We know that this Trump administration is incompetent. That is one thing you have to know, that there is incompetence within this Trump administration. There's a lot of stupid people running departments, a lot of people who don't know how to do their jobs properly. So it is entirely possible this could have been in error, but we don't honestly know for sure.
Carries her passport on the advice of attorneys and is looking for representation from an actual immigration attorney worried about legal repercussions, something she never thought she would ever need.
I don't have anything to do with immigration, and I never thought that I would be needed the services of an immigration attorney either, and that's where I find myself.
It's absolutely ridiculous. This is an American citizen, and you can, and she's it's not like she's from, it's not like she's got like she's like, I don't know her background, but it's not like she has, from my perspective, she doesn't look like someone who has blood related from Mexico or from another country. I could be wrong, but it doesn't scream like to me that this is an immigrant, this person is a threat to America. But this could become something in the future. This is the thing that worries me.
Comes just days after two Boston immigration attorneys got the same email from DHS despite being U.S. citizens themselves. A senior DHS official telling our sister station NBC Boston that Customs and Border Protection has been sending these emails to people who do not have lawful status in the U.S., saying, quote, if a non-personal email such as an American citizen contact was provided by the alien, notices may have been sent to unintended recipients. CBP is monitoring communications and will address any issues on a case-by-case basis.
Oh yeah, case-by-case basis. So they're not ruling it out that they could still come after you. The thing is that if you get that email, you need to respond to it in some way, shape, or form. If you are an American citizen, obviously.
Anderson is warning anyone who may have gotten the emails to take them seriously and get legal help.
It does make me concerned that there's a lot more people out there like me who probably also thought this was spam, who probably don't realize that they might have a problem.
Yeah, that's entirely possible. But it's very very scary because, like, they said there it may have been sent in sorry, let me just fix my screen for it. So it may have been an error, but like I said, there are stupid people. But at the same time, can we really trust them to do it properly? No, I really don't trust these lot to do it properly at all. So yeah, I don't know if there's anything more to really add to it. Is it really worth me reading any more? I hate they use the term alien. It's so nasty that they treat anybody who isn't an American citizen an alien. They call them an alien. It's just outrageous. I really hate that. Yeah, it's pretty much most of it's copy and paste from the video there, but I thought the video made more sense on it. But what do you guys honestly think? Like, is this really just nothing? Is this really just an error? Mistakes happen, or is it like, oh, we should be concerned? And yes, her carrying her passport, she has to carry her passport. It's super expensive for Americans to have a passport or to even renew it. It's so expensive over there. It's crazy. Has Elon received one or two? Probably not. I'm going to imagine that he has not. He has not received any. I think Dobry should get the same email as his mother. Was not American. Trump is trying to deport U.S. citizens. Well, he's looking at the legality of whether he can. Good to see both you, Davies. I hope you guys. I hope you're doing well, Mulligan. They are trying to look at legal loopholes that they can do it. The problem is that it goes against every single constitution, but we already know that they've broken the will of the Supreme Court already as well. So when are they going to push this button and go after U.S. citizens? Because Trump, as you said, Trump wants to deport criminals, U.S. criminals, to El Salvador. I mean, when is he going to, and the thing is, they're looking at the legality of it. I'm assuming the only reason they haven't pushed that button is because they can't legally do it. But they're going to try. They're going to try and find a way. They'll look for any kind of loophole, any kind of way to get around doing this. That's what I'm worried about. I'm generally worried about it. The next story I got for you guys is from the BBC. The judge says that Trump's officials could be found in contempt. What happens next? That is a good question. You know, they are in contempt because obviously as we saw from the video right at the start, when an innocent man has been deported to El Salvador, and we don't know if he's ever going to come back again. And the judges are telling them, you need to bring this man back. And the Trump officials are basically running fiddles around this. We are heading, well, I say we, America is, if it's not already, in a constitutional crisis, because as I said this morning on Good Morning, is that the Supreme Court are supposed to have the same judicial powers as the president, as does Congress. The Congress is suppressed because of the Republicans who are being silent on everything that is happening. That is supposed to be checks. The whole point of the system that they have is checks and balances. But that balance is being broken by the Trump administration and the power of the president, and no one's really doing anything about it. And the mainstream media is not really shouting enough about this. I actually saw another story, unrelated as well, that CNN were told that that they're under pressure to publish a documentary, or a really nice documentary about Melania Trump or Trump Jr. to appease Donald Trump, apparently, because obviously CNN's been getting a lot of ear bashing as well. It's not good, guys. Ben Shaw, no worries. Thanks for popping in, much appreciated. He views as a new Apprentice show. Instead of being fired, you're thrown out, says Roger Devine. Yeah, definitely appears to be like that. Trump has been hot mic'd saying that residents will be thrown out. Yeah, it's so much fear and anxiety. And people, and when does it... Could you imagine if some MAGA supporters got deported? Can you imagine that? Well, that's going to happen anyway, because some migrants, obviously, some people who weren't U.S. citizens, who came to the some of them who are supporters of Trump, they couldn't vote. They believed in Trump, and they could find themselves losing their loved ones. And there's stories already around that. So a U.S. federal judge has given President Donald Trump's officials a 1-week deadline to comply with his court order or risk being found in contempt of court, potentially setting up a historic clash between the two equally powerful branches of government. So the judge, Jamie Brasberg, made the most obvious way for the official to avoid contempt was to assert custody over a group of more than 200 people who they deported to El Salvador last month after he told them not to do so. But the Trump administration has shown no desire to heed, criticising Wednesday's request and saying it would appeal. The White House denies any wrongdoing and has depicted the group as terrorists and criminal illegal migrants who threaten American society with, by the way, no evidence to verify any of this, guys, because none of them has had due process, which they are entitled to. Experts have told the BBC that a showdown between the judicial and the executive branch appears all but inevitable. So what might happen if the government does not comply with Judge Brasberg's deadline of 23rd of April? So is this D-Day? Is this America's version of D-Day, where we find out what's going to happen, what the judges are going to do? Because this is where it all comes. Is this where it's all going to come to an end? The first step to hold any Trump official is in contempt of court would be to determine who is responsible for the non-compliance, the expert told the BBC. At the moment, it remains unclear who took specific action against Judge Brasberg's initial order to not deport people to El Salvador, said Robert Tusky, a Boston University constitutional law professor. Lawyers would use a process called discovery to decide who was responsible. Sorry, I'm getting a bit of reflux, apologies. Sorry, 1 second. Let me start again. Lawyers would use a process called a discover to decide who was responsible by seeking documents and questioning government officials under oath. You'll be able to nail someone down and pinpoint who is that, basically saying, we're getting the planes up in the air and just stonewall the judge, Professor Tusky has said. Government lawyers have said that the planes were already en route by the time Judge Boasberg had written's order was issued, and that his subsequent verbal order for the planes to return happened when they were no longer in US airspace. If he felt government lawyers were not playing ball, Judge Boasberg could fine both the lawyers and the other government officials until they comply. Fines are not going to do anything. Fines are not going to do anything in this situation. You know it, I know it. We know that fines aren't going to do anything. It's got to go more than that. Professor Tusky said the sanctions or penalties would apply until the government met the terms of the judge's order. All of this falls under the umbrella of civil contempt. Civil or criminal contempt. There is also a possibility of Trump administration officials being found in criminal contempt, for which the punishment could include jail time. That's considered one of the most serious things, and that usually is the last resort, Professor Tusky has said. In the case of criminal contempt, Professor Tusky said the normal course of events would be to refer to the issue for prosecution by the Justice Department, which is run by the Attorney General Pam Bondi. Well, we know Pam Bondi is a stooge for Trump, so that's going to be problematic already. Judge Boasberg also has the power to appoint a special prosecutor to pursue criminal contempt charges to sidestep Bondi, a Trump loyalist who was appointed by the president. With this administration, it is very possible that the Justice Department refuses to prosecute. George Mason University law professor Eli Solomon explained to the BBC. Yeah, this is exactly what's going to happen. The Justice Department is not going to respond to this because we know that Pam Bondi is a stooge. Even if the Justice Department does take the case, Trump has the power to pardon the criminal offence, but the president does not have the power to issue pardon for civil liability, civil contempt. The ruling from the US District Court, James E. Boasberg on Wednesday said that the government showed willful disregard for the order and sent his planes carrying alleged criminals to El Salvador after he had barred the government from using a wartime law for the deportations. That law, I fucking hate this name, the 1798 Alien Enemies Act. I really do hate it. I'm sorry, but I just hate the term Alien Enemies Act. It's just to accuse other people who aren't same nationality as aliens. It just infuriates me. Gave the Trump administration power to expedite his deportation of those they said there were gang members without providing any evidence. The US Supreme Court later ruled that Trump was able to use the wartime law. Judge Boasberg said on Wednesday that it does not excuse the government's violation of his earlier request. To avoid contempt proceedings, the judge gave the administration two options: to purge itself of contempt or to remedy its non-compliance. The most obvious way, he said, was for the administration to assert custody of the hundreds deported to El Salvador's mega prison so they could challenge their removability. Like, let's be, again, I have to stress this, guys, always. Deborah Hart, good to see you. I hope you're doing well. It only takes literally one phone call to undo all of this. Trump can just pick up the phone to El Salvador and they will comply. El Salvador are literally, they will do whatever America tells them to do. They will do whatever this Trump administration tells them to do. It only takes one phone call to undo all of this. And they're choosing not to. Judge Boasberg said the government would not need to release any of those deported, a number of whom have not been convicted of any crimes, nor fly them back to the US. The judge said the administration could also propose other methods of coming into compliance. The high-stakes collision between a federal judge and the Trump administration comes under a president whose stated goal was to enact the largest deportation program in US history. If any officials are found in contempt, regardless of Trump's possible involvement, it is unlikely that the president himself would ever be criminally charged, Professor Tusky said, thanks to the Supreme Court's presidential immunity ruling last year. I think that the presidential immunity decision was that issue was going to be the things that protect him from any kind of criminal prosecution, Professor Tusky explained. All these orders are sort of policy decisions. They might be illegal, they might be unconstitutional, who knows. But even if they are, they're done with the scope of his core powers, he said. We are living in a lying circus. Yeah, we are living in a lying circus. It's absolutely It's absolutely, it is absolutely mad. No worries, Mad Monk. Thanks for popping in. Much appreciated. Do I think, do I think the judges are going to win in this? I don't know. My honest answer is I don't know. I don't know how they're going to force the Trump administration's hands in this. But the thing is, once they know that they can get away with this, then they know they can get away with anything. So it really does throw things into question. I mean, it really is coming towards dictatorship in America. I mean, we're that close to it, if we're not already on it. Because the Constitution, the rule of law, is being thrown aside to swore your undevoted loyalty to President Donald Trump. That is where it's heading. And it's quite sickening, to be fair. What the USA is doing is already against the international law, but the USA did not sign those agreements, so ironically the enforcer of international law is not part of it. Think about it. Yeah. Indeed, guys. Like I said, well, I'm only doing 5 stories today because I am a little bit out of breath, so I do apologise, but we've gone about 35 minutes in. I've got at least 2 more stories to talk to you guys about, but I'm just going to take a little break in between. So, like I said, do stick around to the end of the show because I have an update on the Democratic Penguins Republic and what's happened with them. But for those who missed the Democratic Penguins Republic and doesn't know about this, well, Regan, what are you talking about? Who are the Democratic Penguins Republic? Well, don't you worry, guys. I'm going to show you this. So, for context, as you guys know, the McDonald's Island was hit with a 10% tariff. An island home to penguins and seals. They have been innocently hit with a tariff. And basically, when that happened, the Democratic Penguins Republic, who ruled the McDonald's Island, decided to declare war. So for those who haven't seen the video, let's hope we don't get any stutter this time. This is, just for reference, a AI video generated, I want to stress, by a YouTuber called Demon Flying Fox. This is AI generated, okay? Again, I want to stress that. Do check out Demon Flying Fox's YouTube channel if you want to see more AI generated videos. But yes, this video is called The Democratic Penguins Republic Trade War. So I hope you guys get a laugh out of this if you haven't seen this already. I know most of you guys have, but let's have a little laugh anyway because we need it. They answered with total war, guys. They answered with total war. It's still stuttering. God damn it. It's probably because the video is so clean and maybe my computer's just struggling to handle it. So if it was stuttering, I do apologize. And to those who've already seen it, I know you wanted to see it again, so there you go. But like I said, guys, do join me to the end. We'll see an update on this as well. Just a reminder as well, if you want to support the Democratic Penguins Republic, support Pingu here. Support Pingu and support their cause. Help reach the super chat goal today if you can do so. It'd be greatly appreciated. Any funds from that goes towards the Democratic Penguins Republic. Alternatively, if you want to support me and the work that I do, you could also join the YouTube membership for as little as 99p. Remember to hit that like, share button, subscribe if you haven't already. Do check out the Rumble and Patreon content as well. There's been I've been dropping plenty of content on both those platforms. I've actually got Rumble content dropping over the weekend as well. So if you want to check out some of that content that's going to be dropping over the weekend, do check that out as well. So thank you guys always for your support. It is greatly appreciated, and everybody who's come here today as well. Much appreciated, you guys. So the next story I've got for you guys is a very interesting one here from ABC News that's come out today. Yeah, it's not a good time for Google. So Google is a monopolist in online advertising tech, the judge rules. So let me read a bit more context into this for you guys. So Alphabet's Google's illegally dominating 2 markets for online advertisement technology, according to a federal judge. The judge, Leonid Brinknimia of the U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of Virginia, said in a ruling on Thursday that Google had broken the law to build its dominance over the largely invisible system of technology that places advertisements on pages across the web. Plaintiffs have proven that Google has willfully engaged in a series of anti-competitive acts to acquire and maintain monopoly power in the publisher's ad server and ad exchange markets for open web display and advertisements, the judge wrote in her ruling. For over a decade, Google has tried its publisher, ad server, and ad exchange together through contractual policies and technological integration, which enables the company to establish and protect its monopoly power in the 2 markets. So it's essentially them continuously holding on to their power and pushing any other competitors back, because you can basically, because the way Google works is that always whatever you Google and search at the top, it's normally one that's the one that's normally at the top is one that's been paid for or is linked or related to what you've been looking for. They do have too much power. And I'm guilty because I use Chrome, I use Google all the time. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I find them the most useful because they have everything, don't they? But there is no market for me. It's just Google. But that's not right. There should be competition. So the Department of Justice has sued Alphabet, claiming Google had a monopoly in ad technology that allowed the company to charge higher prices and take a bigger portion of each sale. The Justice Department has said that Google should have to sell off at least its Google Ad Manager, which includes the company's publisher, ad server, and its ad exchange. Did you actually know? This is actually true, because I remember one time I was looking at it and I chose not to do it. It was just ages ago. There was a YouTuber explaining how because you could buy, as a YouTuber, if you wanted to, yeah, you can obviously pay to get more views, to get more publicity for your videos and whatnot. There was actually an option to do that. You could do this through Google, with Google Ads as well, so that you could actually publish, depending on how much money you paid, you could actually pop up on some of Google's ad systems your YouTube video that if you pay Google, they will publish it for you. Obviously, because money talks. So yeah, it's a way of some YouTubers fast tracking themselves as well. Just wanted to share that story. With one half of this case, and we will appeal the other half, Lee Ann Mulholland, Google's vice president for Why can't I say that word? Regulatory Affairs sent a statement. The court found that our advertiser tools and our acquisitions, such as DoubleClick, don't harm competition. We disagree with the court's decision regarding our publishers' tools. Publishers have many options and they choose Google because of our ad tech tools and simple, affordable, and effective. That's because you guys dominate the market. You literally own everything. When are you in Glasgow? Believe it on, I'm only going to be there for a short, very short period. If you must know, David, and if you want to pin this in, I will be. Sorry, guys, just off topic here. Apologies. It'll be in August. I'll send you a message on Discord after. I haven't got it on front of me right now. Bitcoin Bros still do that 30-minute advert, says Ginger Lefty. Yeah, they disagree with the court's conditions. Yeah, but yeah, like I said, like they have everything. Google is now facing the possibility of 2 different US courts ordering it to sell assets or change its business practice. A trial will be held this April in Washington on the Department of Justice request to make Google sell its Chrome browser and take other measures to end its dominance in its online search. I say that because this is me being selfish, guys. I am being incredibly selfish here because I use Google Chrome. So what am I going to do? I'm going to have to adjust everything. YouTube and Google takes 30% of the income generated on YouTube. Yeah, they do. They do. That's why I want people to join the Patreon instead, because I get a bigger cut. If you join Patreon, you get a bigger cut, and I get a bigger cut. But this is a developing story as well, so there's still a lot more to this. Yeah, I use Chrome browser. I'm not sure what's going to happen there. But obviously, there's still a lot. Obviously, you need to keep an eye on this one and see how this develops. But yeah, Google does have too much power. Let's be serious. Like, Google has way too much power. They have way too much influence, and it does need to be monopolized. It's true. Like, you can't get around that situation. Get around that. The fact is that they have too much control. You know, you mean whenever anybody says like how to do something or want to do something, what's the term you use? You say Google it, because they are the ones that rule everything. It's literally them. They rule literally everything on this. Ah, dear, oh dear. So actually, man, like I said, I'm getting really tired already, guys. So I do apologize. So this last one, guys, is a small piece. Like I said, it's from the New York Times, and I might actually go into a bit of a rant on this because, like, this person's got some gold coming out of nowhere again. So, Kamala Harris, will she help the Democratic raise cash as she steps back into politics? Still weighing her next move, the former Vice President Kamala Harris is set to headline a fundraiser for the Democratic National Committee next month in New York. Look. Where has she been? Like, this is something a lot of Americans have been saying. Where has she been? Like, I understand after losing the presidency, you go away and lick your wounds. You have some time to reflect. I get that. Okay, I would understand. I would totally do the same thing, just like any other human being would do, after going through a grueling campaign like you did, like she did, like anyone would. But it's bloody middle of April. Where have you been? Like, what have you been doing? You know, she's actually, I'm going to go one step further. She's been as bad as Obama has been in not calling out enough of the bullshit, the crazy shit that this Trump administration has been doing. And don't get me wrong, what the Democrats have been absolutely crap. Shit is a better word to describe what they've been doing, how they've been conducting themselves, because they haven't done enough. You know, Cory Booker's stand was pretty good. Some Democrats, one or two, have stood out. AOC and Bernie Sanders doing their oligarchy, their oligarch fight against oligarchs rallies have been pretty good. But Bernie's not even a Democrat; he's an independent. But where has she been? Like, what is she? What is going on with her? Like, I don't know what she's doing, where's she going next, like what's happening, you know. And it feels like to me like I'm worried that she and some other Democrats might try to shimmer her in to make her the candidate again. I'm generally worried that they might pick her to run for president again, simply on the basis that they don't trust AOC with that power. She's not ready for that role because she's still too young. I still think the argument is that she's too young to run for president of the United States. But any of the other candidates, are there any other Democrats that are good enough to run in several years' time? This is obviously hypothetical because we don't even know if there's going to be a presidential run. But I feel like I just feel like she's been like the fact that she's just pulling out now, coming back into it all now. It's just like where the fuck have you been? Like that's generally how I feel. Where the fuck have you been? Why are you not calling this shit out? Like she was such a softball on Trump, like on some things. Like one thing that definitely hurt her presidential campaign was the stance on bloody Gaza. Like that hurt her. That hurt her. The former Vice President Kamala Harris, the 2024 Democratic nominee, is scheduled to headline a fundraiser for the Democratic National Committee next month as she accelerates her re-engagement with the political world after her defeat at last fall. The event is scheduled for May the 6th in New York, according to an invitation renewed by the New York Times. It is billed as a discussion between Mr. Harris and Ken Martin, the chairman of the DNC. Ticket start $25. Yeah, people, $25,000, dollars. A level of access called the Building the Oppression. The 44,300 level is called Fighting for the Future, according to the invitation. My God. The event comes as Ms. Harris slowly begins to wild back into the political arena 5 months after President Trump prevailed in the traumatic general election matchup. Mr. Harris has been weighing up her next move, which could include a return to the campaign trail, whether as a presidential candidate, no, in 2028, or as a candidate for governor in her home state of California next year. Honestly, I have no problem with her going back to being a governor. Just stay away from the presidency, please. Like, just stay away from it. Some of her closest allies believe she's leaning towards the California run, while Ms. Harris has told people that she can run for governor or president, but not both. Indeed, the 2028 presidential campaign will effectively begin the day after the 2026 midterm elections ends, if not sooner. No, she should not run as president. She wants to go for the governor one, go for it. Honestly, I don't care personally about that. We're talking about who's going to be the potential who could be running for the next presidential, even if there is going to be one, because we honestly don't know. For now, Ms. Harris has been far less visible than some other Democrats who have blanket podcasts and town hall events in red-leaning states in their efforts to push back against Mr. Trump. That list includes the former running mate, Governor Tim Walz of Minnesota. I don't know if Tim Walz is considering running. I mean, I don't know if he should run. But I would take Tim Walz over Donald Trump, that's for sure. But whether Americans would, I don't know. Others also ramping up their appearances at the party's events. Governor, and the thing is as well is that will the Democratic caucus get behind them? Well, they're divided at the moment as well. J.B. Pritzker of Illinois, for instance, is scheduled to headline a major New Hampshire Democratic Party event in Manchester this month. Go away! I'm sorry, that's just how I feel about her. Like, the Dems fucked up so badly at the last election. They really did. They really, really did, guys. I'm sorry this is a bit of a damp squid of a live stream for you guys there. The thing is that I didn't want to cover too much of what I covered this morning for you guys. So I do apologize for that. And like I said, I'm a bit burnt out from this morning and doing content today. But I want to say thank you guys all for coming along. But just before we head out, like I said, there we have a very important update I want to share with you guys. So, as you guys know, the Democratic Penguins Republic has been fighting has been in a brutal war with the Trump administration. There's been espionage, there's been military attacks back and forth, but there has been victory. It seems that the tariffs that were going to be imposed on the Democratic Penguins Republic has been put on hold, guys. This is a fantastic day that they did not have to raise whatsoever any firearms whatsoever. And I want to thank Pingu for bringing us this updated version of the Democratic Penguins Republic Victory Day, guys. So join me as we stand in solidarity with our friends as we celebrate Victory Day from the DPR. Once again, this is a reminder before I click it. This is an AI-generated video by Demon Flying Fox, just for reference there in case anybody asks. Hopefully, this will work this time. It doesn't have any stutters, but I'm not holding my breath on it. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I just love it so much. Do check out Demon Flying Fox. The links for his YouTube channel, the links for those videos are in the description. There, absolutely wonderful, guys. So yes, the tariffs are on hold on the Democratic Penguins Republic. So they have called it victory because obviously they didn't concede to any concessions from Donald Trump. So Pingu is absolutely delighted about that. Thank you, Alistair Keir, for that £2 super chat. Democratic Penguins Republic, I stand with you. I'm sure everyone here in the chat stands with them. So Pingu would like to say thank you, guys, as always. But very, very important. Just because they're on hold doesn't mean this is over. They could very much still come back and bite. So we must continue to support the Democratic Penguins Republic, and the best way to do that is, of course, leaving any super chats in the future, any gifted memberships, all that stuff, guys, because it does go towards the war chest against the tyrant that is the Trump administration. Not America itself, the Trump administration, guys, because many Americans have commented, like they have in this, that they stand with the Democratic Penguins Republic and not with this vile Trump administration, guys. I just want to put that reference out there. So, guys, I want to say a massive thank you to everyone who come along. Thank you, guys, for all your comments. I do apologize if I'm a bit burnt out. That is my fault, and I do apologize. I really do. I will be back tomorrow morning, and I'll be hopefully a lot peckish in the morning for you guys. With the last live stream of the week with a good morning show there. We will talk about what's happening in the UK, and I'll share another story with you guys. So do join me at 8 a.m. for that if you can. Like I said, I will have some recordings for you guys on Rumble and on here on the YouTube channel over the next couple of days. Even though I'm going to be away for a bit, I will explain tomorrow morning what my plans are as well. And a reminder as well, next week that myself and One Angry Pagan, we have the EcoFlake show that's coming back next month, this next week on Thursday, so do join us for that show as well. As for when I'm bringing back the roundtable discussion, I may bring it back around next month, possibly, maybe. I don't want to make promises that I can't keep, so hold on, and hopefully I can get Jenny on, because obviously I don't want to do it without her, because of course, you know, twice and Big Madge, of course, because twice I've invited them and twice I've not been able to do it, so I want to make sure that when I do it, I'd obviously get them both on board at some points, guys. So like I say, enjoy the rest of your evenings, whatever you guys are doing. Thank you all very much for your support, for supporting me and supporting this channel and the work that I do, in all seriousness, guys. It really does help every single bit, whether you're liking, whether you're commenting, sharing, and obviously the financial support really does make a massive difference. You know, it's one step at a time, you know, and I really appreciate everybody who comes out of their way to support me. I really, really do. Thank you. So enjoy the rest of your day, guys. Make sure, before you go, like, share, subscribe, join YouTube membership, the usual stuff, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.